In this session, we're going to talk about something that's important to all of us, friendship. This story we will look at today will be the relationship that's found between Jesus and the disciples. When looking at this story, we get into this question: how many of your friendships get honest enough to help you out spiritually?
All right, we're here at North Shore Park again, where there's people all around us, relationships being strengthened, and one of the most important aspects in the life of a Christian is friendship. And friendship is hard, and there'll be seasons of life where our friends give us reason to be skeptical, where they'll give us reason to doubt and reason to distrust because of things that happen and things that occur. And yet we still see that friendship is one of the most important aspects to our life. And so as we talk about friendship, we can look to Jesus and see conversations that he has with most notably his disciples about friendship that point us to what it means to be a friend and what it means to have friends around us. Tombstone is one of the most famous Western movies there is. It delivers lots of quotable lines from a very quotable person in Doc Holliday. And there's a line that he says, and it's one of those unforgettable lines to me, where they're in the midst, they just come off of a big battle and they're about to go into another big battle. And Doc Holliday is very sick at this point. And some of the other men kind of ask, Doc, why are you here? Why are you putting your life at risk? Why are you struggling through this hard time? Why don't you just go home and rest? And he has one very, very simple response. He says, because Wyatt Earp is my friend. And so friendship is a really strong theme in that movie, and it's a really strong theme in the Gospels, particularly at the end of Jesus's life. There's one scene in John 15 where Jesus knows that sort of the end is drawing near for him. He's been with his disciples a long period of time, and he's going to begin to talk with them about his relationship with them now as friends. Friendship is a really important thing for you and I as well. This is both biologically and psychologically proven that people who are lonely die earlier, they die more often. And so friendship is not just a mental and a physical component of our lives, but it's a really, really important one, spiritual. In John 15, we see Jesus use two phrases, and he uses two statements that are really, really powerful. He says this, he says that there is no greater love than when a man lays down his life for his friends. And then he turns to his disciples and he says that I no longer call you slaves, but I call you friends. And he says, because now I have revealed everything that the Lord has revealed to me, I now reveal to you. And just very quickly in that passage, we see both the importance and really the blueprint of friendship. Friendship takes sacrifice. It takes initiative. It takes honesty. It takes work. Friendship is one of those things that there are some people that we will easily be friends with, but no friendship is simply easy. That on our part, there are things that we must do to maintain healthy relationships and healthy friendships that we most desperately need. True friendship is about honesty, and it's about pursuit, and it's about pursuing people in the way that we would want to be pursued. And this is the blueprint and the model that we see from Jesus. And so for you and I, some questions that we must ask ourselves in regards to friendship, because it's really easy to feel like we have a lot of friends. It's really easy to have relationships with people at a very sort of surface level kind of atmosphere. It's really easy for us to feel like we know a lot of people, but not really have a lot of true friendships. In fact, studies show that is actually how most people feel. Most people feel like they know a lot of people, but most people feel like they have very, very few, if any, true friends. And so I think here are some things that I think spiritual friendships really do for us. Spiritual friendships heighten our joy for the Lord. True friendships will actually expose our sins. True friendships will encourage us to be obedient to God. And true friendships will draw us close to God. The inner skeptic in us wants to not really trust people. The inner skeptic in us wants us to not really be fully honest and be fully transparent with our stuff. The skeptic in us wants to sort of be guarded and shielded and to not really let people in at a really, really deep level. But the gospel calls us that when we enter into this relationship with Jesus, that we're called to be the kind of friend that Jesus was, the kind of friend who was honest, the kind of friend who was transparent, the kind of friend who pursued other people, and the kind of friend who was willing to sacrifice themselves. There's so many things that are pulling at our time and our attention, so many things that the world offers us, that drilling down and actually pursuing true friendship is actually, it feels very costly because it's very time intensive. And yet we see that there's a spiritual need for this in my life and in your life. And so one of the questions that we must ask ourselves, and we hope that you have a good conversation about, is, do you have friends in your life who are in your life at such a deep level where they're able to see your weaknesses, they're able to see your strengths, and are able to encourage you to really deepen your faith in your walk with Jesus? Do you have friendships like that?
So Josh, talk to us a little bit more about friendships.
Well, I think we see it modeled there, where Jesus comes to a place of real honesty with his disciples, and this is kind of like, years into the ministry, and I think that is a good reflection of that friendships do take time. They take time for us to develop. They take honesty, and we've kind of talked about that a little bit already. But I also think that when it comes to friendships, we a lot of times have friends who kind of fit different parts of our lives, which that's good. We have some friends who are just fun. Right. We have some friends, who we're encouraged by. And I really do think that many of us struggle to find the friends really that help us like move spiritually forward. And we all need that. And we all are kind of called to that in some way, shape, or form, to be that for someone else. And so I think the call for us is just to really assess, do I have friends who actually grow me spiritually, that by being around, I'm benefited, that my relationship with the Lord is strengthened. And that's a question that we have to ask about the people around us. And it also is a question we have to ask about ourselves. Like, am I putting myself in a position where I can allow it to happen? Which I think that's hard for people. It's hard for men, and it's hard for women as well.
Yeah, and I think we definitely have to be intentional. We got to seek it out. But there's no doubt, as I look back in my own life, the points where I've really grown, it's because of friendship. It's somebody that God has brought in my life for that time that I needed it. And so I think it'll be a great discussion. We'd love to hand it back off to you guys in your group and really discuss together about how God has used these friendships to further your walk with Him.